Um, Tell me a little bit about your spirituality. Like when you started and where you're at now, like where, how do you feel about life, religion? You know?
You know something? God for me was an ethereal, ephemeral, amorphous concept when I was growing up, because I was brought up Pentecostal. And so God for me was a mixture of old sayings, old Bible verses, a lot of repression, a lot of sexual repression, and a lot of hypocrisy. I later learned that that was religiosity, that wasn't God. Mm-hmm. I always respected the concept of God and the concept of the Holy Spirit. As I moved into my period of flesh, I call it, where I had to go to the extremes, you know, I had to go extremes drug-wise, I had to go to extremes sexual-wise, I had to go to extreme political, I had to go to extremes in every manner of living. I had to do it. Because I had been held back so much that when I was allowed to be on my own, I investigated everything. I remember, just to give you an example of how God manifests itself in me. I remember in jail. I now am doing time. I'm a murderer, and I'm with the big guys. There was no adolescent center then. Mm-hmm. And I walk into the big room, and I start to cry. I go to the slop sink and I start crying. I'm a light skin, as Bloods used to call me, Yalla. My family calls me Yalla because all of them are dark. Mm-hmm. I'm 5'7", skinny, and I have a reputation of just having killed somebody. A guy knocks on the door. Now, this is what, when I say God, I'm talking about a universal kind. A guy knocks on the door and says, what you crying for, man? I said, man, I wipe my tears quickly, and I try to get past him, but he's so huge. He's what we call jail big. Mm-hmm. Weights big is one thing. Jail big is quite another.
Right. He's been building up.
He's been building up. Pero con nada. I mean, he's doing calisthenics. I mean, his muscles are sculpted. Right. And he tells me, where you going? When I look up at him, I see, I don't know if you've ever seen the Olmec head in Mexico, that huge. Sure. I saw that face in him. And rather than be recoiled or be repelled by him, what a beautiful face he had. Mm-hmm. Now, he had never had someone look at him that way. But I was brought up to believe that if someone is gorgeous, you look and say, contra, man, wow. And I looked at him and I saw my father. I felt protected. This guy was if there was anyone threatening, it was this guy. He ran to tear. He said, what you crying for? I said, I got zip 5, man. Zip 5 means 0 to 5. He said, oh, so you crying because you think you got a lot of time? For what? For killing a boy? I said, yeah. He grabbed me by my shirt, Carlos. He grabbed me by, I remember I was where you are. He smacked me hard against the chest, twisted my shirt, pulled me close to him, and said, let me tell you something. Everybody on this floor has done less than you and got more time. And I started to tremble. Now, I'm looking for something to stab this guy because I don't want it to be known that I'm a punk. Mm-hmm. And they used to call them Don Juans. They're pieces of plexiglass, or you get little pieces of metal from the ceiling. I'm looking for something. I'm looking third button from the top. I want to stick him right in his chest. I figure I've already got a body on me. I might as well get another. Mm-hmm. He looks at me and sees my eyes darting around. He said, oh, you want to hurt me. He says, better Negroes than you have tried and died, but at least your heart doesn't pump Kool-Aid. But I want to tell you something. Yeah. With the death grip on me, and he starts screaming out names. Epps, how much time you got? Epps had 25 to life. For what? Attempted manslaughter to the same thing I had. Okay. 25 to life, Carlos. Wow. Rice, how much time you got? 25 to, for what? Assault 1. Did you do it? He said, I didn't do it, man. I wasn't even there. There were 30 guys in the day room. Of the 30 guys, 15 of them had 25 to life, 10 of them had 10 to 20, and only a few had 7.5 to 15. I was the only one who had 5 years. And so he grabbed me and said, let me tell you something. If I ever see you crying again over these 5 measly years that you got, wow, I will take this. And at that point, he picks up a mop bringer without 35 pounds of pure metal, without trembling, and says, I'll bash your head in. Now he looks at me and he says, and now I'm looking at, my eyes are livid. I'm so mad. I mean, He said, boy, you got a little something to you, huh? You got a little something to you. You think you tough. And I don't say anything. I'm still looking to take him out. And I'm watching every move he makes. He finally says to me, you know something? And he says it to the group in this had to be God. He said, I'm not going to touch your booty. And I'm a booty bandit. I'm not going to touch your booty. I'm not going to freeze you out. In other words, on the chow line, they freeze you out. So you get no food, or they put glass in it. They can do any number. He says, because I really think, and he says this to no one in particular, he's speaking out loud, it's as if he were possessed. He said, I think that you don't belong here, and I think you really need to get out of here. And I looked at him, and I started looking around, thinking, what's going on? Maybe he was high or something. He said, I'll tell you what, man, I'll take care of you from now on. Now, take care of you means you're going to be his girl. And so I stiffened. He said, no. You don't have to. I'll watch for you, kid. And from now on, I'm getting emotional. From now on till the time you go upstate, no one, do you understand me? And then he pointed to everybody, no one is going to touch this boy. Wow. He don't belong here. I said, but do you? He said, that's not the point. Maybe I'm paying for things I've already done. He said, but you don't belong here. And I never want you to forget us when you go out. You hear me, boy? I said, yes, sir. Then we started sparring around. Then he said, okay, he lightened it up. What happened is he saw the love that I had for him in that instant, and he had never been loved like that. He didn't take it homosexually. He didn't take advantage of it. He saw that I wasn't part of that group, that all I did was saw a beautiful black man. And he felt the protection that I was giving him my life. And he said, then I'm going to protect this boy. I became the scribe of the prison. And so I would write poems for him to his girl. And it wasn't a slave thing. He'd say, hey, would you do me a favor? And so I'd write these poems, and then I'd send it to his girl, and she would get them. And when she would go see him, she would say, tell me the poem you wrote to me. And he couldn't memorize it. So I made him memorize it. So he became quite adept at writing. But true to his word, when I went upstate to Elmira, they shipped me out. They say, you that guy's kid? I said, yeah. He said, Nothing happened to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was never touched. Nobody would put their hands on my booty. Nothing. I was charmed. So when we're back in the day room, he still has his hands on me. He grabs me by the neck. He said, you're all right, man. You're all right. You got heart. And I said, you're my angel. He says, no, baby. You know what my name is? Diablo. Never saw him again.
Really?
Never saw him again.
Wow.
So if that's not God, instances where I'm in an after-hours club and there's a gun battle.
Right. He's just
I mean, automatics tend to go to the right, and the bullets are just pa. And I'm sitting there laughing, stoned out of my mind. Not touched. Cops busted me and said, man, get out of here. For the stuff that I've actually, you got to say, there must be a God.
Oh, there certainly is.
There must be a God. Angels who were there. I've been in situations where prostitutes have told me they're going to take you out right now. Come out this way. You see what I'm saying? You got to.